Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first episode of All Things Football. Woo! The podcast that brings to you all things football. So, yeah, man. Here's Victor Luhanga, your guy, your boy, the Arsenal fan who talks too much.
Exactly, and this is your boy Prince, aka Misfit Kid, the most special Chelsea fan on the planet.
You mean special like has issues?
No, special on the planet. Special.
Alright, man. So, today's episode, we're going to review the Premier League games, we're going to review a bit of the Liga, a bit of Ligue 1, and the Super Cup that happened in Germany, that thing. Yeah, man. So first things first, let's talk about the Premier League. What you got for us, Princey?
Well, first game up of the Premier League was the game Man City versus Burnley. Man City won 3-0. It was a very commanding performance from the champs. Despite Burnley playing well, they had their chances. Company has them playing very exciting football, which is very different from Sean Dyche's football, which was, just hit the ball up front and hopefully get a headed goal. But they were a bit more expensive, free-flowing football. Had their chances. Too bad they didn't score in the night, but it was good. Haaland did his thing as usual. 2 goals. I think the commentator said he thought that Premier League defenders would have figured him out by now, but it's Haaland, guys. So
Not that way, man.
not that way. But Rodri got the last goal, but it was a good game. Only downside was KDB getting injured, and as it sounds from Pep's interview yesterday, that he's gonna be out for a long time. So
What you mean downside, bro? I'm happy, bro.
come on, man. Of course you're happy, but KDB, man. The man's talented. But we're gonna miss him. 4 months out. That's we're gonna see how City are gonna cope with the star midfielder.
Yeah, defo, man. It was honestly good to see some Premier League football, man. Like, I genuinely thought everybody would handle the robot by now. But then there he goes, Erling Haaland scoring goals again. It's what he does.
That's why they bought him for those specific moments. So, up next,
Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest, and obviously, I'm happy. Like, I'm happy that my team got the win. We beat Nottingham Forest 2-1. First up, Martinelli came in, Mandem finally found his Brazilian passport, hit it right. Probably assist of the season, I'm calling it already. Passes the ball to Nketiah, and Nketiah proves most of you are wrong and puts in a really good finish, like a really, really good goal. And then later on, Saka whips it in. Fantastic goals. Once you see the torn socks, you already know. You already know, bruv. Premier League fullbacks are in trouble. Okay, whipped it in. Massive goal. Brilliant goal, man. It had me screaming, bruv, off my seat. And that's Bukayo Saka. It's what he does. Like, it is what he does. But then, Arsenal showed a sort of bad habit that we showed last season where we, like, ease off. We start games really well. And instead of killing off teams, we let the teams get back into it, right? And then that happened, and Nottingham Forest got themselves a goal. I know Manchester United fans were looking at that one since Elanga came off the bench. Passes the ball to an Arsenal fan, of course, who scores the goal, hurting us. I mean, pain. And we had one of those nervy finishes. But aside from that, really good game, man. Great performances from your guy Kai.
exactly, Kai. He played well. He was okay. Chelsea fans trashing him for no good reason on Twitter. Leave the boy alone, guys. Leave the boy alone. First game, but it was okay. Rice played well. Timber got injured, unfortunately. But it was good. It was good.
Yeah,
First game of the
man.
season. 3 points in the bag. Come on.
The Timber one has me crying a bit, but okay, hopefully Arteta thinks about something because Arteta is usually cooking, so hopefully he has a backup plan for this one, and then we'll see how things go. Moving on to the next game, which was
Spurs versus Brentford, a very exciting draw. A 2-2 draw. It was a very good game. All the goals came in the first half. It was free flowing. Spurs showing a different side to their football. No more Mourinho ball, no more Conte ball. This was free flowing. Madison, 2 assists. Play well, play well. Bissouma probably had his best game in a Spurs shirt since he signed from Brighton. So I feel like Spurs this season a little bit unknown. Harry Kane is gone. We don't know what to expect, but they playing good football, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna do this season.
Yeah, man. When it comes to Spurs, yeah, we all thought it's a Hurricane team, and it was. Let's be straight, it was. Like even Son Shiny, and this is like an unpopular opinion. Like when he had the season where he got Neymar level stats and all that, when he won the Golden Boot, right? Everybody went like, yeah, it's Son is underrated, and yeah, that's true. Son is a really good player, but I felt like Harry Kane got that because we saw last season when Harry Kane wasn't whipping it inside for him no more. Son had an average season, but Spurs now they're not playing forceful football anymore. It actually looks like they've got rhythm. I mean, don't get me wrong, Son was still anonymous last game, but with guys like James Madison, who is the GOAT, love the guy, hate the team he's playing for. And with guys like Richarlison, I genuinely just hate that guy for no reason at all. Yeah, got big man Kulu. These guys have really got a really good team, like really good team. And I think this season, I don't think they'll make top four. And they're still probably okay. They're dark horses for top six, if you ask me, because they still had an even game with Brentford. If you're a big team, and don't get me wrong, Brentford clapped us some time back, not too long ago. But the point is, Brentford should have probably won this game. Like Brentford were good, and from the performance I saw, right, do not think Spurs will make top six because they are playing the best football they have in like what since Poch left, but they still couldn't win the game. They still showed those defensive signs of I mean,
letting goals in. And
yeah. I mean, probably because of the Romero injury, which was funny as well. Because 1 minute Mandem has an injury, yeah, and then he proceeds and then scores with his head, which was injured, like, and then out of nowhere he's getting subbed, and he was pissed, like he was pissed, but crazy stuff. That's the Premier League for you.
Yeah.
And then moving on to the next game, which was Brighton versus Luton Town. And Brighton was scary, man. With the new guys, João Pedro showing you that Brazilian flair, with guys like Mitoma still moving the way they move. It was crazy, man. Like, and I'm honestly afraid of Brighton. Like, I'm afraid of them. Like, I feel like they're one of the teams who can breach the top six, which they did. Wait, did they breach the top six last season?
Yeah, they finished sixth. Yeah, they did. They breached it.
They breached the top six.
I feel like they want to move a level up. I think I don't know with Europa League, but obviously they want to make Champions League.
Yeah.
Now moving on to Newcastle versus Aston Villa. Newcastle absolutely clapping Aston Villa, 5-1. A very good game for Newcastle. A very good debut for Sandro Tonali. Should have scored 2 goals. The Italian Stallion, aka people are linking him up to Pirlo, but that was a good game. Harvey Barnes scored on his debut too. Isak, my man's, 2 goals. Bro is gonna get like 15 goals in the Premier League. Gonna get probably like 3 goals in the Champions League as well.
I mean, I have him in my fantasy already, bruv. So I welcome it.
Wilson carries on the tradition of scoring on every weekend of the opening season. I didn't know that.
This guy is crazy.
Stat on Twitter about that. Scored every weekend of the opening season.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
Tradition. That was a good game, and Aston Villa is not a bad team.
They aren't. Like for a minute, I thought they would I thought it was gonna be an even game because one thing about the Premier League, there's always a blockbuster draw, like in the opening thing, and we already had that with Spurs, but this game was on a Saturday, so I thought this was gonna be the game. I thought this was gonna be the blockbuster draw because it had the last spot on Saturday's match card. I thought this was gonna be that game because straight after Sandro Tonali scored, Diaby went and then scored on his debut, which was mad. Look at that, bro. But Newcastle are dangerous. Like, I don't know how they're gonna cope with Champions League football.
in a long time.
And those draining nights, like the traveling and all that, I don't know how they're gonna cope, but they're playing some electric football. Like this is what we saw last season. This is what we were afraid of last season, right? But yeah, really entertaining game. And then moving on to the biggest game of the weekend, like the first Big Six game. Can we still call you guys a Big Six team though?
We can. I mean, we finished 12th. I mean, it happens. Everybody has a blip season.
Yeah, I mean, true.
We all have dips, so that was our blip season. Hopefully, the last one.
Yeah, but now El Tragico, the Liverpool versus Chelsea, the rivalry that is there, but people do not really talk about.
Haters.
But yeah, man, honestly, this game was really good because don't get me wrong, it still ended in a draw, 1-1, and these guys have now drawn the last 7 games
in a row.
In a row, which is crazy, but it was a different type of draw than last season's games or the games where Liverpool went on and won penalties. Like it was different because in those games, the matches were boring, genuinely.
True.
Like there's a reason it was called El Tragico. For me not to use French right now, there's a reason it was called that, right?
Yeah.
And this game was different. Like Liverpool started, and I thought they were gonna score so many goals because Diaz scores a goal, and like Diaz is a scary guy. Like I genuinely hope he's fit this season so we get to see more of him. And yeah, he scores his goal, and then Salah does the Callum Wilson thing and scoring for the 7th opening day in a row, which was crazy. And then VAR steps in. They say, "Nah, fam, cancel that."
Thank you, VAR.
And then Chelsea come into the game, and from there, I can say Chelsea really grew into it. Like Chelsea were a different Chelsea, like the Chelsea that we all saw last season, and we all enjoyed watching last season.
I didn't.
We didn't see that no more, right? And then they scored. What's that guy's name again?
Diassi, our new defender from Monaco. You know, it was a good game. Enzo played beautifully. That was Enzo's best game. Everybody played it. Reese, Levi Coley. We had 6 debuts, I think. Yeah, Nico played well. Yeah, it was a very good game. Very good game.
Very fun game.
Very fun game.
Very fun game.
I hope this is just the beginning of us breaking into the top 6 this season, hopefully. But that was a good game. And moving on to the last game of the weekend, we had Manchester United versus Wolves at Old Trafford. Man U sneaking a 1-0 victory. Very underwhelming performance from Manchester United.
Very underwhelming performance from Manchester United. But let me say one thing, and I know we've got Manchester United listeners, right? And I've got a lot of Manchester United fans in my DM. And I'm going to say this once, right? I'm only going to say this once. Big up Manchester United. Big up Manchester United. Why? Because, as a big team, it's normal for you to, like, perform really well in games and win, right? But only big teams have terrible performance but still find a way to win. That's what makes you a big team. You feel me? And this is something that Manchester United have been doing for a while now. Like, we've seen it where we all sit down at night, Ganyu, watching Manchester United and seeing them have a terrible performance. But still go to bed annoyed with Manchester United fans saying, Bruno Fernandes on their statuses. Because this is what they do sometimes. Like, sometimes Manchester United will have a terrible performance and they're still going to win the game. And they did this again. Don't get me wrong, I still feel like, okay, Eric Ten Hag is a smart guy. He knows that his team didn't play well, so he still knows that he's going to have to fix that long term, right? Because that performance against City, they probably score 7. Like Liverpool.
Probably.
Right? But, big up. You got the win. At the end of the day, 3 points, that's all that matters. Wolves were amazing. They couldn't take their chances. They were amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong. They should have had a pen. And, which is the next thing we're about to talk about. And this makes me angry, right? Because I feel like this Premier League weekend, we've seen this a lot where these referees are now being protected more. Like if a player complains now,